I wanted to make a video showing what it's like living car light on the south shore of Long Island. So here are a bunch of clips of some errands I've been running in December and January. So early December, we went out to pick up our Christmas tree. Since it's about a 6-foot tree, it really wasn't heavy at all, just ratchet strapped it down. And with the extender, the rack extender, it was no problem riding back with it. The nursery is only about a mile and a half round trip. I'm very lucky to live right around the corner from my parents, so I rode over to pick up dinner one night. This was just after decent snowfall, so you'll see later in the video I ended up building a new bad weather bike, you could call it. The bike had been great, but the tire clearance was a little bit limited, so I was running 32 mil Pacellas, and they weren't the best when you start to hit some of the deeper snow. And of course, I just want to build another bike. This is me riding out to pick up a couple rolls of film from the local lab. I usually develop the film myself, but was on a time crunch, and I wanted to make sure my camera was working properly for a pretty big milestone that you will see later in the video. This is a route you'll see in the video a few times. This is out to the local downtown. It's about a mile to the train station. This is where my barber's at, a bunch of restaurants, the train, my dentist, what else? There's a bunch of stuff there. But in my experience, it is almost always faster to ride my bike there. So I guess that's a good segue into why I started to ride my bike everywhere. So the town that I take the train from is actually not the town I live in. I'm very close to the border, but the train station has parking permit, and for non-residents, it's pretty expensive. So I figured, let me just start riding my bike and see how it goes. It was summer, so it was pretty easy to do. I had like a crappy full suspension mountain bike that someone had just given me, and it was in my garage, so I grabbed it, didn't even shift properly. I kind of just rode it as a single speed. And after a couple of days, I realized how it was pretty pleasant, and I didn't have to worry about being in the city and grabbing a beer and coming home and not wanting to drive. So I started to ride to some other local errands. My supermarket is less than a mile away, actually multiple of them. My dentist, my barber, a bunch of the bars and restaurants I like to go to, the post office, really anything you could need on like a normal day-to-day basis was within a mile radius of my house. This got me interested in the planning and engineering aspect of bicycle infrastructure, and when I started to look into it, I realized that Nassau wasn't doing anything. They don't have a plan. They have almost no bicycle infrastructure anywhere in the entire county, and we are one of the densest, one of the wealthiest, and one of the most populated counties in the entire country. Then if you start to break it down by some of the towns and villages, Rockville Center, where I am right now, has a population density on par with Los Angeles. A neighboring village, Lynbrook, has a population density on par with Washington, D.C., and then Long Beach, which is a city, has a population density similar to Chicago. And these are all villages and cities within a pretty small area. Here we are now riding out to drop off a couple packages at the post office, and then I have to run to CVS to pick up some medication and some Vaseline for our newborn baby's diaper changes. You can see most of the streets around here actually are not terrible to ride on in their current configuration, which makes it even more frustrating that there isn't a plan to create a network and, tackle some of the conflict points, because you wouldn't need to do a lot, especially in the beginning, to make cycling much more pleasant for your average person around here. And our traffic congestion is pretty terrible, and it's predicted to continue to get worse. So giving people another way to get around here would be a massive benefit for everyone. All right, we're loaded back up, ready to head home. This Swift bag is actually really nice. It fits perfectly in the walled 137 basket. And these little tie downs are nice since I have the half basket. And even though it does look, I like it aesthetically. It's definitely less functional than a real basket. Stuff will just bounce out of it if it's either not strapped down or I'm considering changing it out, but I like the way it looks. The bag has 2 tie downs on the side where you could strap it down to the basket, and for a pretty simple solution, it works very well. Even when the bag is loaded up, I use it to do like mini grocery runs, and it's solid. It keeps the bag locked down. It's a pretty nice day out, and all the snow finally melted, so I'm back on my Trek 750. I have no fenders on it, so I don't like to ride it when there's snow and salt on the ground, or rain, or honestly any bad weather. I kind of baby this bike, even though it's like an old 1991 frame I got from a thrift store with some rust on it, but the components on it are pretty nice, so I try to keep the bike salt and rust free. So here we are leaving Stop and Shop. I rode over there to pick up some stuff to make a roast chicken for dinner. It's always nice leaving this parking lot. You'll see I basically just get to blow by everyone waiting in the line to leave, and forgive some of the jitteriness of the footage. I tried to use ND filters to get some motion blur, and with the action camera stabilization, it just doesn't work very well when you drop the shutter speed too much. Yeah, there's a picture of it. It's delicious. So here's a perfect example. There's one crappy street you have to cross there, and it has a light, so it's really not that bad. But now I'm right back in my neighborhood, side streets. People are generally respectful of me on a bike. I really haven't had many run-ins with people, and we have a pretty notorious reputation here for aggressive behavior, aggressive driving. But I have to say that I've had a great experience here with people. I've almost always given plenty of space passing. People usually will wait to pass me. I think in the 5 years that I've been riding around everywhere, commuting by bike, just running all my errands, I've been beeped at for being in the street maybe 5 times, less than a handful. And I haven't had a single actual interaction where someone, exchange of words, you could say, which based on our reputation is surprising. It was surprising to me. It still surprises me sometimes. But I guess it's a good thing. All right, now we got some night riding. One of my best friends was in town. He moved to Texas, so he was back for Christmas, and so we're just going to chill, grab some food. I forget which round of the college football playoff this was, but there's a few games on, so just chilled, watched the game, played some darts. I lent him a bike to ride around too, so he was getting in some miles while he was here. So here's a funny consequence of me riding my bike everywhere. I don't drive my car that much, and I have my car, a Honda Fit, has a small battery. So the cold weather and the never turning it on took a serious toll on the battery, and it shot. So we're going to ride over to the auto parts store and get a fresh battery, and we're going to get a bigger battery. So we got the new battery strapped up, got some wipers, and I got to make a pit stop on the way back. But I just want to say, Omnium, I have a Minimax, it's an amazing bike. I use it a lot. I ride it a little bit less in the winter because I tend to, I don't go down to the beach. I usually do smaller food shops. Though I don't have fenders on it, so if the weather's really crappy, I'll take my my fender bike, my bad weather bike. But I've hauled all kinds of stuff with this thing. Ladders, hand truck, flat tire, groceries, my beach chair and umbrella to ride down to the beach, some big bags of ice, a cooler for a party. Honestly, if you could figure out a way to strap it down, you could probably ride it. We're veering off for this pit stop here. I need to pick up a baby bath from my in-laws' house to give our son his first bath. Got the bath strapped up, dropped them off a shipping label, and we're on our way back home. Time for a new bike build. This is the frame I was talking about a little bit earlier in the video. It is, I believe, an 85 Schwinn Sierra. I got this frame specifically because of the horizontal dropouts, so I could run it as a single speed. I had the 420 set up as a single speed too. Since I'm running this hub as a single speed, I needed to move around some of the spacers on the hub, and now I got to redish the wheel to compensate for that so I could get the correct chain line. So I got the hub opened up, gonna clean up these bearings a little bit, and now we're loosening the drive side nipples and tightening the non-drive side nipples to get that rim centered over the new hub spacing. Checking the dish, we're pretty close. I did a little fine tuning after that, and now you can see we're good. I got very lucky too. I kind of just moved the biggest spacer over, and chain line worked out perfectly. So I haven't finished that build yet. Gonna hop on the trek and ride out to into Rockville Center, grab a couple beers with my buddy, our little Friday ritual. That pass actually looked kind of close on video. It didn't feel bad in person, but something like that is the extent of like the bad drivers or aggressive drivers I deal with for the most part. And like I said, at the time, it didn't even register to me until I watched it back on video. It seemed a little close. This intersection right here always backs up, which is a huge advantage of riding into this area. Got to give my guy here credit. Perfect G-split. Had some tidbits, and I'm out. So this is the train station bike rack that I almost always use when I commute in on the Long Island Railroad. They actually get a decent amount of bikes locked up here every day, even in the winter, which is another reason why it makes no sense that there's not an established bicycle route to access all these Long Island Railroad stations. If you look on a map, the amount of like prime real estate around the station that is taken up by surface parking is insane, and it's something that can be addressed or at least reduced if they give people an established, visible, safe way to get to the train station by bike. A lot more people would take that option up if they knew it was available to them. And especially in this area of Nassau County, most people are in a pretty short distance of their local station. Like for me, I have 3 Long Island Railroad stations within a mile radius of my house. It's exactly 1 mile to get to this bike rack from my front door. This will kind of give you a good idea of how much the traffic built up here. You could kind of see going in the opposite direction. Just there's a line of cars basically all the way down to this light. Well, I skipped a couple steps on the bike build, but got to go run an errand, got to go to Stop and Shop. Bike's done, so we had a big snowfall, and this will be the first time that I'm actually testing the bike out in the snow I kind of envisioned I'd be riding it in. I ended up going with 1.9 Continental double fighters. They seemed like a good balance. I had Billy Bonkers that I could have run, but I hate the tan sidewall, and I wanted something else. So for the most part, I handled it well. You could see right here, they barely plowed this section, but never put the foot down, but you could see I'm struggling a little bit. This apron was pretty slushy, but again, same thing. Handled it very well. Handled it better than the packed snow. I was able just to push right through it. And it wouldn't be the suburbs without them doing a terrible job shoveling the only footpath and completely ignoring the bike rack. If you ended up making it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope that anyone that's been on the cusp can see this and say, hey, maybe I'll try to run that errand on a bike. I promise you, if you pick a good route, pick a nice day to do it, you're going to enjoy it.